Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another solo episode by yours truly, a bite-sized episode on Raising the New Earth podcast. I am your host, Noah Dory, and today I want to do a bite-size on the topic of ADHD, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. It's important for me to share with you that as a mental health nutritionist, I've seen hundreds and hundreds of cases of young adults and teens and adults ages 12 to 30 suffer from anything from ADD, ADHD, bipolar, severe cases of PTSD, dyslexia, and so on and so forth, autism on a day-to-day basis. And I've noticed something that really bothered me. I've noticed that the approach to those clients that were so desperately in need of our help was very symptomatic. And so it was always, what are the symptoms? And here is what we think you should do. There was no attention to a systematic pattern that that individual was engaged in. Uh, there was lack of attention to the nutrition and how it can contribute or help the removal of the root cause of what has caused those mental illness. And so I decided to do a quick bite-sized episode for those of you who seek more knowledge and tools for specifically ADHD. So just to give you an overlay of what I see as an integrative medical practitioner, a future integrative medical practitioner, and a current nutritionist and health coach. I look at the modern integrative medicine as something to be redefined through the concept of human potential rather than the dysfunction, the disease, the what is not currently working. This on its own implies that we need another set of parameters to evaluate the full range of health. Again, so it's not about treating the symptoms, is helping the human being as a whole to look at this picture, step back, and giving that person the tools to change what it is that needs to be changed. The fundamental focus of medicine on seeking to identify what is wrong is then shifted towards the interest of what can be done to bring that individual to their full potentiality. That's what this is about. The Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, the fifth edition, or in short, DSM-5, was the product of more than 10 years of effort by hundreds and hundreds of international experts in all aspects of mental health. And so the DSM-5 offers a diagnosis criteria, but the DSM-5 does not explain the root cause of these challenges, mental health challenges in particular. And with the advanced state of brain research today, it is easy to think that we're arming ourselves with knowledge about how to best care for our precious brains and minds. But do we really? Do we really see a lot of psychologists and psychiatric teams approach the root cause and not the symptoms? Very few, far in between. So it is essential. It is then essential to emphasize that you are not the problem. You are not causing this. You are not the problem. The problem is a different problem. And once we get to the root cause of the problem, then we apply a certain set of tools in order to bring that individual back to his or her homeostasis. So it is also important to understand that toxic heavy metals have a lot to do with mental challenges. And those toxic heavy metals can be found in caffeine, any solvents, fragrances, perfumes, cologne, air fresheners, air plugins, scented candles, MSG, DDT, any petrochemicals, radiants, plastic, and so much more. And those heavy metals can actually damage neurons and interfere with sending of signals to the brain. And so when we talk about ADHD, we talk about attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. It is important to understand that it is not genetic or gut related. It's also not an issue of a deficit in attention, but rather a regulation issue. We also see that people that have ADHD also lack dopamine and finding it hard to fall asleep. I came across a few colleagues of mine that suggested that a new name is needed, and Dave is the name that they wanted to replace the ADHD with. And Dave, the D will stand for dopamine, A for attention, V for variability, and E for executive dysfunction. So none of the popular explanations really address the true underlying cause of attentional focus, hyperactivity, impulsivity, or even executive function or self-regulation issues. What really causes ADHD, from my experience, is mercury and aluminum settling in the brain's cerebral midline canal, which this is the canal that divides the brain's left hemisphere from the right, along with some other metals scattered in other areas of the brain. So it is the same cause as, or at least partial cause as autism, but in ADHD, the ratio of is a little bit more aluminum and a little less mercury. So what happens is when these metals take up residence in the midline canal, they block internal communications with the brain. And as a result, the brain must adapt, and electrical pulses then need to find new paths, traveling on neurons that wouldn't normally be used for talking, listening, and other forms of action and communication. This is why you often see a child with ADHD behaving in one manner when you're asking them to behave in a completely different manner. So these evolving domestic chemicals that children are up against in today's world are triggering, and those are also the causes of why the symptoms and the condition is worsened. A particular psychiatrist that I absolutely love, his name is Daniel Amen. And if you follow him, follow his blog, I think it's amenclinics.org, I believe, but you can look him up. I love his approach. He actually has a test offered on his website where you can see which type of depression, which type of mental health you as the individual are being challenged with. And he is one of the few psychiatrists that I have seen that actually recommends nutrition as part of the protocol. And as a nutritionist, I can really appreciate it, knowing that 90 to 95% of our serotonin, which is our happiness hormone, reside in the gut. And seeing the hundreds of cases that I have been seeing with mental health clients and their poor nutrition, and knowing that this aspect on its own can help someone's mood, can help elevate someone's mood, it's a really powerful tool to be used. And so I often have my clients try an elimination diet for a few weeks. If we're talking about a child, I do it for 1 or 2 weeks. And the first two things that I have them remove from their diet is gluten. There are actually a few things. There's gluten, corn, any processed corn, corn syrup, dairy, any soy, sweeteners, and artificial dyes. That's the first few things that I have them remove from their diet. And I do believe that the elimination diet paired with heavy metal detoxification and supplements is a winner. So what I have parents do, if this is a child we're talking about, is taking away their phone or any devices hours before bedtime and have them follow that advice themselves for better sleep. That's the first thing that I do. As for supplements at the mental health facility, we used to give them omega-3 fatty acids, EPA, DHA, with higher dosages of EPA for brain health, focus, and mood. This was one of the first, and it's also anti-inflammatory. So this is one of the first things we gave our clients. Phosphatidylserine is also something that we gave the clients. It's a fatty substance that protects nerve cells in the brain and enables them to communicate with each other. And it's found to be very helpful with ADD, ADHD. Also, something that I have my clients do is check their magnesium levels. Magnesium is an amazing relaxer and nerve calmer. And I have many of my clients try out, magnesium after checking their magnesium level, and they see big changes with that. Again, quality supplement is in need. And one last thing that I do have them check is checking their ferritin levels, their iron storage levels. So a low ferritin doesn't mean that someone is anemic. It just means that the iron storage level is running low. So they're approaching anemia. So it's important to know that if you see that there's low ferritin level, and again, this is done via blood work with your PCP, primary care physician, or other practitioner of choice. If you see the ferritin low, that on its own can cause fatigue and anxiousness, et cetera, et cetera. So these are the few things that I do with my own clients. So it's important to try to remove the heavy metals as much as we can. Remove the trigger foods, the inflammatory food. Dairy and wheat are the first ones that have got to go. Anything with artificial dyes. There are kids and adults that are more susceptible to neurological disorder than others. And so anything that you see that has natural flavors or artificial dyes, just, turn the package or turn the bottle, whatever it is, that you make sure that there's none there. Scented candles, air fresheners, all of those things. Try to replace them with essential oils. Colognes and perfumes are just packed with heavy metals. And so again, if you have a member of your family that is really susceptible to those things and you see a change of behavior, taking it out for a few weeks and notice a difference in that family member's behavior is going to be crucial, because again, you are not the problem. It's everything that your body has been soaking up with unintentionally is the problem, is the cause. And so removing that from the equation will allow you to be your own doctor and track and see if that improves the function, the behavior, the cognitive function of that individual. So I hope this helps. That was a quick bite-size information about ADHD. And again, consult with your chosen physician on anything that you're about to take or any questions that you may have. Have a great day, and I'll see you all next week. Bye.